I think I've stuffed this up again.
You massively have. Lucky no one's watching yet.
Yeah. I think I'm in a waiting room at the moment, but
we're in the waiting room.
No, you start.
No, I've done this before. Oh, this is about the waiting room.
Have you ever seen a roo kick? Have you ever seen an emu run under the bright Aussie skies and said this year we'll be the one? Oi, oi, oi! What does it mean to be a part of a footy team? It's more than a game. The footy's in our veins. It's time to go. It's the Northern Footy Show. Get out of our way. We wanna see them play. Have you ever seen a roo kick? Have you ever seen an emu run?
Cannot be live. We've got 3 shows to go and I still can't get that right. I had it on loop. What an absolute whacker. Welcome to the Northern Footy Show, guys. Everyone on a Sunday night for the Sunday wrap-up. It has been an absolute monster week in football for all of us. There's finals. We've had the grand final show, but in a very, very quick 20-second summary, Diamond Creek head to a grand final against South Morang. Greensy knock off North Heidelberg today in a very windy affair down there at Bonner's favourite ground, Kramer Street Oval. Old Peas win a flag in their first season, and the Stars put on a fantastic performance. I was there. It was a great grand final. We'll talk about that. Kilmore win the seconds flags. I'm absolutely bankrupt after paying for admission to get into so many games over the weekend, but Bonners, we had a huge show on Wednesday night. We had 130 people down at Bundoora Footy Club to celebrate the yesteryear team versus the today team and give out some awards. What was your take on the night, mate?
Yeah, it was great fun. It's a big build-up. Your first time you've done it, seeing who turns up. It was just fantastic to see so many great people there, great players. The social part after was amazing. I don't think anyone left the premises till 9:30, so I think Kingy's gone out to buy a Porsche with all the beer that was sold on the night. But one lesson we did learn is make sure you've got enough awards and make sure you know how many people are there on the night. So it was an interesting night, but just great. Jamie Churchill, amazing. Nick McCall, fantastic at the end. The girls put on a great show with all their stuff. It was just, it was a great first night.
I think at the end of the night, I think you're being generous. 9:30. I left there at 10:30, and there was still boys. And Kingy tried to close the bar 7 times. But I seen Karen and all of the crew out there, Taylor Bowles, and they were cleaning up, getting ready for the Friday night, which was fantastic. Thank you to Bundoora for giving us the venue. Absolutely. What we can tell you is I've been inundated with people wanting to host it next year and pre-season events. We're going to do a few more things like that next year, which will be great. All right. Before we've got a plethora, you like that one? Plethora, Bonners, of special guests tonight, a couple of old teammates, but there's no one more important, and I'm sorry, Muskie and Sean, but there's no one more important than the young man sitting down at the bottom of the screen there, Lockie Kerr. Lockie, the Old Paradians premiership player, which you won't get sick of hearing, and best on ground yesterday by a country mile. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Lockie, I was at the game yesterday, and I thought you were absolutely outstanding. You were playing on grown men. You're a young fella. How old are you, Lockie?
Recently just turned 20, couple months ago.
Right, so you're still a pup. We'd all love to be 20 again, but you absolutely dominated yesterday. I was glad to hear you got best on ground. I certainly had you as best on. What'd you end up with? 4, Lockie? Four big ones on a blustery day?
Yeah, 4 goals. So no, it was good day for it. Yeah.
Yep.
It seemed like it. There we go. There's the first
they're all
again.
coming in. We knew they wouldn't be far away at all. He's going to get inundated.
It felt like yesterday when the pressure was on early. I mean, Fitzroy really came out of the blocks well. They kicked a few goals early, and you guys settled really well. But I felt like the third quarter when they threw everything at you, you settled really well. But the use of the football in the third quarter was impeccable. You had Sammy Gilmore off the ground for pretty much the whole quarter, which it almost worked for your benefit because you had all the small guys running around. Did you feel like 3/4 time you'd done what the necessary to get you across the line?
Yeah, I think everyone at 3/4 time was really positive. Sort of keeping that composure throughout the quarter. We knew Fitzroy would come.
Whoops! Smash glass.
Yep, that's but we knew Fitzroy would come in the fourth quarter. So yeah, we all just sort of trying to keep our heads screwed on and with a positive attitude. So that was good.
Now, Lockie, I asked the hard questions here, right? So brace yourself for this one. The boys aren't happy. No way Lockie does this when it's his shout. You skipped your shout by coming on here?
Yeah, I might have.
And they reckon you're stiff not to be in the team of the year. There's nothing like your teammates to get behind you. Lockie, what was your expectation going in the game? And I know the obvious answer is we went in it to win it. I thought Fitzroy Stars were the premier side all year. I thought they were the better side all year. I did tip Old Pradians to win the other night. And the only reason I did that is the way Old Pradians finished. So Old Pradians' last quarter for the year was more score than any other side in your last quarter. So I thought if you could stay with them for the most of the day, you'd come flying home. Was that part of Ben Turner's structure at all? What was his thoughts on all this?
Yeah, it was definitely on our minds. I think the last few weeks we've been really closing out the games really well. But in terms of preparation, we sort of was trying to keep it like a normal game. Sort of training was all the same, and trying not to think about it too much. But no, it was just a really good experience to
Yeah, look, watching the game, there was a battle of the forward lines. It felt like you had Farron up one end, just taking the game by the scruff of the neck, and you and the big boy next to you, Mr. Dowdy, going nuts in the forward line. I just thought your key forwards and the way you guys led, I felt like your efficiency going forward was the difference, and the way you get on to the end of the kicks from guys like who we have Sammy Gilmore out of the middle, Jordan Tolley as well. So I thought it was fantastic. Do you feel like you had the ascendancy in the air up forward?
Yeah, it's always nice when you got blokes like Marcus Nolan to hit you up.
Yeah, that was the other name I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, but credit to Farron. He's an absolute freak. Kick 8 goals in grand final. It was unstoppable. So it was good. Yeah,
it's pretty special, Lockie. I thought Will might enjoy this, but I thought Will played better than Sam, and Sam still played fantastic. But it might be one time where Will can just let Sammy know that he played better than him in a grand final, because Sam's record in grand finals is outstanding. Sam looked like he was injured at 3/4 time. I wasn't sure whether he was holding his leg or his arm through the binoculars. What happened to Sammy there, mate?
I'm not too sure what it was. I think he was struggling a bit though. He sort of came to full forward a bit, and then the way he was still able to have such a big impact on the game and a few massive marks and sort of have an impact in the game when he was sort of on one leg.
Let's have a chat about the coach, the head honcho. He's kind of underrated by many, but every person I've spoken to who knows Benny really well just think he's one of the great coaches. We spoke off air about, coming into a new competition, that the game plan has to be a little bit different because the competition itself is a lot different in the way they play footy. But what he's been able to do for your footy club, but it just must be amazing to play under a guy like that.
Yeah, it truly is. And I'm very grateful to have BT as a coach. But yeah, it was sort of all that bit of optimism at the start of the year. It's never heard a bad word about him. It was a pleasure to be coached by such a great man.
Lockie, from our perspective, give us a closer look at that premiership medal, mate. You hold that up a little bit closer for us. Yeah, just showing off now, mate. Showing off. Well, mate,
Show
well
us the
done.
real one. Show us the real one.
You really deserved it, mate. I'm really happy for you. I thought you were absolutely outstanding yesterday, and
Agreed.
you'll certainly. We did a little photo after the game. Look at this. Did you see this one, Lockie? I made this when I got home, and before anyone gives me credit, it's called ChatGPT image. I just typed in the right parameters, and it spat it out, which was fantastic. Now, that this guy in the middle here, you think that the boys are holding him up. That's not. That's just Sam Gilmore standing on the ground. But Lockie, from all of us at the Northern Footy Show, congratulations on a huge grand final. Look forward to watching Old Peas play in second division next year, and maybe have a couple of waters in between the next shout, buddy.
No, for sure. Thanks, boys.
I will let you go, mate. Enjoy your night and congratulations.
Great job, Locke.
Well, you can't beat that, boys. And Bonners, that brings us to our next two guests now. There is an old story that these two once played for Heidelberg together. So it's ironic that this week they're going to face off in the Division 2 grand final, Bonners.
It is fantastic, and two of the sides that have been up there for a while, and it should be a massive weekend. They've already had a clash in one of the finals, and it'll be either the one team gets the double win or there's a bit of retribution.
Yeah, I think so. And let's get into you first, Muskie, because this is a huge thing for South Morang, mate. You guys just 2 seasons ago were running around in Division 3, and the truth is, I can't think of the last side that's managed to come up as quick as this or play off in a grand final within 2 years to go into Division 1. The steps ginormous. You have done a great job. Right. And you got 3 sides this weekend in it. Sorry, Muskie. You got 3 sides in it this weekend, 19s, reserves, and seniors. What a huge weekend ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it certainly has been. I think as far as the research I've done, no one's known that we've got all 3 sides in the finals all in the one season, especially in our second year of Division 2 to make the finals last year. I suppose our main aim last year was just to survive, not to get relegated back to Division 3. Yep. Recruited pretty well, got a lot of our ex-juniors to come back with a few others. To make the finals last year was fantastic. And then this year, obviously, to go a little bit further, we did last year to be playing off in the grand final. Great credit to Gary and Steve Power, assistant coach, Nathan Stefano, and the players have really worked their backsides off the whole year from all 3 grades. So it's a great reward for our club.
Now, Muskie, do we need to have a GoFundMe page there so we can generate a bit of cash for all the streamers and the balloons that are going to be in the room with 3 of the teams in there on the weekend?
Well, I suppose it's similar. Well, Diamond Creek they've got seniors and reserves as well. So it's nearly just like another home and away game as far as the rooms are concerned. So, no, it's tremendous. As I said, it's the feeling around the place this year has been tremendous. A lot of people have done a lot of hard work behind the scenes to make sure that off-field's been really good, and the players have left no stone unturned with their recovery and how they respect each other and treat each other. It certainly shows out in the field. They're a great bunch of mates looking out for each other and playing some good footy together.
Yeah, win, lose or draw, it's a great testament to where you guys have come from. You were close in COVID year as well. You played good footy, obviously, leading up to that. And then, obviously, you just got to hang around and then you jump out. You play finals in your first season. Played really well last year in the final series too. I remember speaking to you on the boundary line during one of the finals, and everyone's just amazed. You've got a huge supporter base, as do the Creekers, but it's going to be a massive weekend. What's the preparation? What happens now down there? Will you get a bit of a crowd down there on Thursday night training, sponsors night, something like that?
Yeah, well, Thursday nights have been really well attended for the whole year. I'm sure there'll be a few extras that'll come out this week to support the boys and get around them all.
Yep.
But as I said, we've got a really good attendance Thursday night. Sometimes selection takes a little bit longer and people start to get a little bit tired and want to go home. But the support from the players and the spectators, supporters have been fantastic for the whole year. Even seeing them at the grounds, When we score a goal, just the noise they make. Even obviously the two finals that we've played, both one goes into overtime and one's another goal win. Just the roar from the crowd when the siren's gone. It's been, if there was a roof on at Epping, I reckon it would have blown the roof off.
Yeah.
Now we talk about players coming back for finals. It must have been a nice injection to get the two big boys from Coburg ready to play in finals, and good injection of extra talent coming into finals. So has that made a really good difference? Have the boys settled in now that they've had a couple of games ready to go for the grand final?
Yeah, no, they've been perfect bookends, aren't they? One at full forward, one at full back. JD's a little bit older than Deacon, but the experience that both of them bring have been fantastic. We're still a very young group. To add a little bit of experience this year with Tyrone, Kobe Van Zweenen as well, a little bit older boys, Nathan Stefano. We've got a good blend of youth. I don't think we've lost too many players to other clubs over the last few years. So the culture that's been built by these players is a place that everyone wants to be at.
No, it's spot on. Now, before we go over to Fitzy, explain this one to me, Muskie. Explain what this is all about. Is this for the end of year footy trip, or what's it really about?
No, I don't get a cent. If I'm fortunate enough to be successful and win, the whole proceeds go to the club. Obviously, we can see some growth with our female program, so a lot of that will go towards, hopefully developing that a little bit further. And helping out people that need a little bit of help along the way as well. So over the moon to be nominated as a finalist. The other two ladies that are nominated as well, some great charity work that they do. So to get nominated is to get nominated was great. To make the final, sort of blew me away a little bit.
Well, but just finally, before we head over to Sean, I have known Muskie for many, many years since Brandon played under nines. I think it was there
a while ago,
So, and he's 20 now, so a little while. Mark is. I'm gonna post that up on the Facebook page at the end of this show. Mark is the South Morang unofficial mayor. There's nothing this guy does not do for free. He helps everybody out. He's at the club. I think they've put a double bunk bed in there for him now. He just lives there. What he has done for the community is outstanding. I am a huge Mark Muscat fan, so please go and QR code it and vote for him. And I think it'll be fantastic for the 20,000 to go down there and continue the growth. You have a lot of members down there, kids down there. Do you know the numbers roughly, Muskie? How many people?
I think we're about 400 juniors that we've got between our teams. Again, the programs run our junior coaches. I think we've selected some good coaches. 5 grand finals though, and we won 4 of them this year. Had a few selected at the NFNL awards that were featured in the top 3. So our junior program's looking pretty good as well. So hopefully a lot of those juniors will continue on and play senior football at the club.
And it is a big thing. Junior football is the junior link coming into senior football. It's a great pathway that these kids have. So the stronger the junior club, the stronger the senior club usually is. So with both teams, I think it's fantastic. And it's been, it's amazing how well that the community's lifted up.
It is great. Yeah, look, in 2022, when we won the Division 3 flag, we won with 22 points. So, every player was a 1-pointer. We're still well under it now. This year, I think most clubs will be doing pretty well, blooding their juniors into their senior team, which is great for the competition.
No, so well, let's get to the man, and I'm going to throw this out. This will make Jules Dintersante pretty happy. I'm going to cross over to Sean Fitzpatrick, who I'm going to go early. I think Diamond Creek will win the grand final. Now, Muskie, I'm a brave man for saying that online, but Jules said if I did tip South Morang, she'd stab me in the heart with a blunt knife. So we can't do that. I think Diamond Creek has, after that game yesterday, Sean, you must be pumped going into coming into the granny.
Yeah, we are. Like, obviously had a good game against South Morang 2 weeks ago, and obviously ended in a draw, extra time. We just look, obviously it was a surprise to everyone, a lot of us as well. But I was in the rooms before the game, and the boys were, there was just a different feel, and I've been in there all year, and there was just a different feel. AT, our coach, he had a bit of like a bit of a confidence about him as well, which it's always there, but it just seemed like there was a little bit more, a bit more than normal, and the players were very focused, and they knew what they had to do, and like to come out and kick 4 goals pretty much against. It wasn't a strong win like when we played South Morang, but I think keeping them goalless in the first quarter, I think was a bit more of a good mental thing for us against them, but knowing that we had to win the next quarter, and we piled on 3 goals in 10 minutes, and it was set. I mean, they had a lot of shots in the first quarter. They could have easily gone through, but our defence held up, and that was our best game for the year for sure.
Congratulations, Fitz. Amazing job. I saw the scoreline, and part of me was surprised and part of me wasn't. We've been lucky enough to spend a fair bit of time down at your club this year, and the way they've gone about it has been fantastic. I find the contested football is amazing at the club. I feel, you got your good, strong forwards. So for me, the biggest thing came from yesterday was character. As you said, you've come up against a team like South Morang. You've drawn the game. You have to take the emotion of losing in extra time, and then to come out and beat a team that's lost pretty much one game in their home and away series like that, it takes you in such good stead going into a grand final.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we played Lower Plenty last week. No disrespect to Lower Plenty. They got a big future ahead. We probably gained a lot of confidence from last week. We didn't set the world on fire for most of half the game. We probably did, but look, I think as I said, we had our captain back. He's missed nearly the second half of the season. He's our general of the back line, Nathan Searle. I mean, and as I said, he marshals the troops, and that first quarter, like the concentration levels and all the boys were just phenomenal.
I ran into Nathan today while I was speaking about Nathan at Kramer Street, and I think I said to him something like, mate, you could have put a bit of effort in yesterday. But in all seriousness, speaking to a couple of other Diamond Creek boys down there today as well, gee, they love him, don't they? They love him. He's like an idol down there. The respect is huge, Sean.
Yeah, no, it is. And just his calmness, and, he never gets too overwhelmed and never gets too excited. So we needed him back. Unfortunately, someone misses out. He took someone's spot who wasn't playing too bad. And, but look, he was a necessary in for us. Captain. Being captain, but he pulled up well. So, as I said, he's missed pretty much, I think when we played Whittlesea up there, he missed the second half of that game, and Whittlesea got over the line. Obviously missed the next week, and then re-injured his ankle. So he's he probably could have played last week, 2 weeks ago apparently, but we just wanted to keep him on ice for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's good to see that you're bringing in the halfbacks. They're the most important footballers on a football ground. In my personal opinion, these forwards get it easy. So it's good to get a quality player back like that. But as you said, it's not even just a player; it's the leadership. And we talk about with AFL footy and stuff like that. It's that emotion that lifts the team. Their leader of the club has had plenty of time out. Comes back into a preliminary final. Basically gets back to his best, and then just starts to lift the team.
Yeah, and also too, even our forward line, we've injected a bit of speed and youth in, like Tommy Baird, who's come in. He's missed. Yep. He wasn't even going to play at all. I think he injured himself like round 2 or something at the start of the year. And Andy Elwood, who apparently got his foot got run over by a car at Northland only 6 weeks ago, and he had a broken ankle. So we thought he was done and dusted. And he's been back the last 2 weeks. And I think he's still got a crack in his ankle. So, he's been playing sore. But like you wouldn't know though. I don't think it worries him. He's a pretty tough kid.
Now, Muskie, I wouldn't be upset to hear you and your old teammate go toe to toe here. If you can get any bad talk on, do you want to throw the first cannonball over the boat, mate, and just maybe wish him no luck on the weekend or something? Oh, I'm up for the fight, guys. Let me adjudicate it. But in all seriousness, you both played footy together at Heidelberg. Is that true?
We did, yes.
Yep.
I think I was very fortunate to play at a great time at Heidelberg, and obviously they've still continued on now. Played with some great players, and still we get together yearly and still sort of keep track with a few people. But yeah, it's obviously our background at Heidelberg has got us in good stead now to where we are. One of us will be playing against Heidelberg next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, Muskie was all, you could never catch Muskie at training. There's the
first one.
He was always too quick for everyone, Muskie. But look, even what Muskie just said, like our 19s ones, Divi 1 team still in the finals. They play next week in the preliminary. I went back to Heidelberg for the first time earlier in the year, and we narrowly lost, but it was great to see all the old faces and all the old boys down there. And we had a beer after the game in the rooms, and and a lot of them were they were rapt to see that I was president of Diamond Creek, and they were rapt to think that someone from their club has moved on to another club, and like Muskie, we've learnt from our time at Heidelberg.
Yeah.
Now, boys, we do appreciate it. Now, Daz has not been the greatest tipster this year, but a couple of things do seem to be coming true in finals. We did pre-season and did have you guys playing in the grand final, so we appreciate us making us look like the smartest football tipsters on earth, even though we're freaking horrible. But to see you guys in the grand final, and for me, it's the big part is such young teams. And, we've spoken about Lorimer of going up to a division with the young sides, but developing this young talent, keeping, as you said, Muskie, the 22 points, and I'm sure Diamond Creek isn't far above that as well. To me, it's testament to football clubs. To see you guys getting into the grand final, I think, is just deserved, not only for a team, but a club itself.
It's a great effort. Very good. Very proud of what we've been able to achieve. As I said, to have 3 sides in the grand final. Our 70-year history, we're making history already. And then we'll see what other history we can make on the weekend.
Yeah, we've obviously everyone knows our reserves and seniors both are in the grand final this week. Like, it's going to be a pretty big week. In Dymo too, we've got our town fair, so hopefully by about 5:30 we can bring the cup back and get back to the rooms and celebrate with all the township.
Just a quick follow-up. Having the 19s playing in Division 1 as well must be great for the future as well. So, they're playing against the top under-19 side. It gives it a great ability in the future for these guys to start getting exposed to a higher level of football.
Yeah, well, a lot of them have played ones footy this year. They'd probably be out of a lot of them to play today. There would have been 6 have played ones, and I'm not 23rd man, and even getting picked on, through natural natural way. It's been great to see all them have a bit of a go at it, and like with one kid hasn't even played a 19s game, Chet McLaughlin. He's been in the ones and with the Northern Knights. So it's been great. We had a team in Division 3 as well that made the finals. So we had 4 teams play finals. Unfortunately, the Div 3 team bowed out, but our Div 1s are still live next week. So they're all going to have an early night after next week's grand final.
It was. I was at that game this morning, Sean. I seen you there as well, and he's really trailed all day in the 19s against Greensborough, and it was a pretty brutal first quarter of footy. It was hard old style footy, but you guys snuck home with 30 seconds to go to head into the next final. So got to win one more to get into the big dance. But jeepers, it was a great game. So similar to Muskie, there's a huge chance you'll have all 3 in the finals. How many juniors have you got at the club roughly, Sean? Do you know? Even guesstimate?
In the junior club?
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's about I think about 280. I think 280.
amazing.
So,
This
and
is
we've got
just
100 and we've got 60 under 19s and 60 six. Well, we've got about 115, I think. So 60 under 19s and 55 on the senior list.
the Eddie
So,
Maguire of Diamond Creek. You've been. I don't know who did that, Fitzy, but it seems to ring pretty right. And you've got the mayor of South Morang. So I think there might be some promo during the week that the mayor takes on Maguire. I'll plug that into Chat GPT image and see what it spits out for me. But in all seriousness, boys, we wish you both the very best on the weekend. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic grand final. I'll get down there and support you both. And I really, just hats off to the both of you for what you do at your clubs. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of volunteer work. And this is what it's all about, the big dance. And they're hard to get to, as you both know.
Yeah, just before, I don't know if the Parade boys still there, but congratulations to Parade as well for where they came from last year to, be playing Divi 2 footy next year is unbelievable.
No, absolutely amazing. Well, boys, we're going to check you out and we're going to start talking the rest of the games. You can go and enjoy your Reds wine. Last say, Muskie, last chance to stick one into Fitzy. You got anything for us?
No. I have the utmost respect for him as an ex-teammate. We've got to look after each other.
Doesn't sell tickets on TV though, mate. We need sledging. All right, boys. Have a great week ahead and enjoy it. And we'll certainly speak to one of the two of you next Sunday night.
No worries. Thanks very much, boys. Thank you. See you, Sean.
Good luck, mate. Good luck, Muskie.
So, Bonners, I mean, pretty much, what a fantastic end of the season for these guys. I mean, they've both worked hard. It was probably the only one we've really got right all year that was going to make it, and I think from that perspective, we're going to ensure that, the league's in good hands when it comes to quality of games, and it's in good hands, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think I had Divi 3 right, the finalists. I know you're on a Mernda thing, but I saw that. I think I had it as from the first time those two played. I thought they were far and beyond the best two sides in the competition. The way they played, and watching the game on the weekend. If you had to switch that on, there's no way you would have thought that was Division 3 football. That was just quality, hard, tough. The skill level was impeccable, even in the breeze. You had these big forwards. You had blokes shining. To me, it was almost worthy of Divi 2. Bottom sides in Divi 3. It was just Divi 1. Sorry, I thought it was amazing. But the competition just gets better and better.
Great. Let's wrap that game up then for the weekend. Let me jump into that. And you were at the Greensy North one today, but my quick further summary to that game, Old Paradians versus Fitzroy Stars. I actually thought both sides were tremendous, Bonners. I was there. The atmosphere was fantastic. Confirmed today, I was told 2,900 people at the game. You had Lance and Shane Whitnell up one end working a bar. You had the kitchen out of control that, did a fantastic job where we love everyone down there and, just turns on the kitchen of a lifetime and all of her help in there is fantastic. But I thought the quality of the game was fantastic. Lockie Kerr was definitely best on ground, so I'm happy to hear he got that. I thought Will Gilmore was outstanding. I thought Will was absolutely fantastic, and he just seemed to be in everything. Of course, Sam's always thereabouts. Tom Coop kicked 3. He was outstanding.
Yeah, I thought he was very good.
He was very, very good. Like, to me, he was really important. He did the hard stuff. And Jack Nicolo as well. I thought he was everywhere as well. And you just can't go past those guys. Then you get over to the Stars and literally star names. When you got Patrick Ferrand come back into the side and Boots 8 in the losing side, you start thinking of Ablett, don't you? And then you've got Alan Norris was fantastic. Neville Jetta off the half back line. Oh, my Lord. That guy still looks fit enough to go out and play, AFL. Again, no dramas. Kane Proctor and Jai Burns just burn rubber through the middle. You can't. When they get it, they just show the ball this way, and they're gone. It's like a dust. But I was also really impressed with young Raymond Winmar as well. Kicked a couple of goals, and I thought that just the way he presented, he's going to be a star, absolute superstar. Yeah. So fantastic game in closing from me on that game. Both sides could have been, proud winners of the day. But I was more impressed, Bonners, to see after the game how quickly a few of the Fitzroy Stars boys, including Kane Proctor and Jai Burns, just recommitted to the club to go back and get the job done.
And it's almost a job not quite done, isn't it? They've any other year you'd sit there and they'd be holding the cup, but coming up against such a quality football team, I actually thought that another one off halfback Nicolau, I thought he was as rock solid as you could ever go. Every time the ball kept going forward, he was fantastic. You had Joel Tolley through the middle. I think Sam Gilmore in the last quarter just took it by the scruff of the neck, just kind of dominated the forward half a little bit more. But, your Kane Proctors, your Jai Burns never gave up. You also had, I thought Neville Jetta had the Stars one was by far best on ground for them. I thought the way he patrols off halfback, you just can't get experience like that. So, and Farron up forward, he was kicking goals that shouldn't be kicked. Like the first shot at goal, he was on the boundary. I think it was in the car park, and he's kicking against a massive breeze. And I don't even think the umpire moved.
He's just unbelievable in front of goal. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times this year, but that was by far his best performance. But every performance amazing from him. Yeah. He looks lazy. I know he's not lazy, but that's how well he does it,
Yeah, it's laconic, I think, is the great word to say. And he looks laconic.
But
the difference for me I was live streaming it all day, and the problem that they always have, and I come back to it every single time, everything comes back to moments. And Fitzroy Stars kicked 4-14 with the breeze. So they looked a better side when they were running into the wind. They looked so sharp, but it felt like, and I'll go through today's game as well, because it was not dissimilar to today's game as well. But you've got to take opportunities. If you're kicking 2-7 and 2-7 with the breeze and only lose by three odd goals, it really does bite you.
A quick shout out as well before we leave. President Simon Vincent tried to get him on the show today, but he was playing old man's footy, over 45's footy, and for Diamond Valley. And he also won a premiership today. So well done to Simon as well. Congratulations. Great work down there with some of our good sponsors from the General Chicken Co. So fantastic. Now, Bonners, tell me you trotted down to North Heidelberg, Greensboro. Before you do that, I wanted to congratulate also yesterday the reserves. Kilmore 99-63 defeated Mernda in a replay, 5-7-37. I watched the game. Kilmore dominated the game is the truth. I thought they played better all game. No disrespect to Mernda at all, but they just used the wind better, Kilmore, I thought, and they just seemed to be there a little bit more often. They did make a comeback, Mernda, but I think it was probably just a little bit late. And the 19s in the game before that, Banyule 105 smashed McLeod 45. So well done to Banyule and well done to all the sides that made it. But sorry to cut you off there, Bonners. But today, tell me about the game down at your favourite home of football, Kramer Street.
It's one of those grounds that it's a different way of playing in the wind. It's a very breezy ground, but it felt like it was up and down all day. But basically, Greensboro just flew out the blocks. I felt like they settled a lot quicker. The first quarter for me, first 15, 20 minutes, and he spoke about it at quarter time, it felt like it was just a rush. They were just trying too hard to get the ball in the forward line. Now, on a ground like Preston, you can't kick the ball too long with the breeze because you just don't have the opportunity. It blows into a forward pocket every time. But it took our boy, little Brycey, to kick a goal out of nowhere and suddenly start kicking getting the goals on the board. They started to dominate in the middle. For me, one of the guys I just thought was amazing for North Heidelberg one day is Jesse Tardio. I thought he was a guy that nearly lifted him on his shoulders, but it's the premiership quarter that cost him today. I felt like in the third quarter, they allowed to have Greensboro to have that spare man, but every time they got the ball just off halfback or just behind centre, it was that long kick into the forward line. And it just didn't feel like they had the right efficiency going forward, where the other way, Greensboro, the way they use the football going through, their runners through the midline as well. You had McGovern up forward just taking everything. And they looked like they were a lot more efficient. Third quarter just got to 20 points. You've got that slight breeze in the last quarter. And then first 10 minutes or 15 minutes of the last quarter was just electrifying by North Heidelberg. They started to get the ball out of the middle. Boomer started to get his hands on it. Our boy Parker got a fair bit of the footy, but when you're coming from behind, you've got that slight breeze behind you. It became that all they had to do was, I think Greensboro kicked 2 goals in a row, got to 9 points. They had a couple of shots a goal and missed, but for me, it always looked like at 3/4 time it was Greensboro's game to lose. And it turned out that way. But the Doggies were just superb in the way they kept fighting. It was pretty spiteful during the game. There was a lot of spot fires, but to me, the respect that these two teams have for each other. Big shout out to Matty Hyde. Big shout out to Jason Heatley, as we know, is retiring from coaching. Yes. But it was just one of those great games of football. Unfortunately, a team has to lose, but I just felt the run and gun and the efficiency and the cleanliness of the boys in green were just a little bit better.
Doesn't hurt when Boomer Harvey comes back in and kicks 4 snags for you as well.
Yeah, so he kicked, I think, 2 or 3 in the last. He kicked a couple, 2 or 3 in the last. So he really did electrify him. But I thought Jesse Tardieu got him back in the game, but it just wasn't efficient enough going forward. They kind of bombed it a little bit too much. And then it was almost like that. You had one team that was trying to hit up, and the other team was trying to bomb with the forwards just running, forward underneath, getting under their feet. But at Preston, when you go too long, the ball just keeps going and going and going. So you end up in a forward pocket either side, and it's really hard to kick a goal, even with the breeze from the pockets.
Bonners, you and I spoke about this off air, and I think might have been even with Muskie before the show, or it might have just been you and me. I can't remember. But I'm not sure that the game should be played at Preston. And the only reason I say that is I know it's a great venue and a great game. Nothing to do with the wind at all, right? But to me, it's a foreign ground. Think of AFL, they play at the G. Everyone gets a chance to play at the G for the year. Do you think it's because neither of them get to play there, that's fair? So it's as even a place as you're going to get? Or do you think it should be played at a ground that belongs in the NFNL? What's your take on that?
No, I like it. I think that there has to be prestige in finals. So but the difference is it's not as if one team gets to play and the other one doesn't get to play there. So I like the neutral venue. I think to me, it's the cornerstone of Northern football. The Northern League, you're in Preston. It's a great ground. It's the actual, as you said to me there today, it's just the surroundings are everything you want from a final. So I'm actually okay with it. I actually think it's a pretty good ground. As I said, it's my favourite football ground. I've played a lot of footy there, but I do think it brings a lot more prestige to the local footy. Maybe during the year there has to be, you've got a ground like that. Why can't there be a match of the round plays there every week or something like that?
I agree.
So
it'd be nice
to get the opportunity, I reckon that every team should get the opportunity to play there once. So as match of the round, even if it's every second week, you just pick one game that 2 teams haven't played. But I actually think that they should utilise it a little bit more.
Agree. Let's move over very quickly to the Whittlesea Diamond Creek game. We'll just cover that. So 18-14, 122 the Creek to Whittlesea 3-11. That's a big difference. Even if it was 11-3, Bonners, 93 points separated in a – is it a semi or a preliminary? I think it was a preliminary. As a preliminary final, you don't see that. The gap between those sides was nothing like this all year, but there's a couple of guys that kicked a bag of 3 goals each. Tom Baird kicked 3, and so did Jet McLaughlin. And then you've got Andrew Elwood. So you got 3 guys kicked 3 goals each. The ball's being shared around. What I love about Diamond Creek is everyone's nearly even in that side, and you bring back superstar Nathan Searle. He's just one of the most loveliest people in the game. He always gives you his time, and the respect they have for him is nearly a Messiah level bonus.
Yeah, but you have those every football club has that player, and if they come back, like today, you could have said that with Boomer. He hasn't played a lot this year, but they just give a lift. It's not even sometimes, like Fitzy spoke about it, and as I said, I'll always say backmen are the most important footballers on a football ground. So they win your premierships, the forwards don't. But to have a guy like that to come back and, just to marshal, it's also instruction, directing. giving these young kids, these young kids are so eager, but they don't have the experience to have someone like that come back. But but they'd be bitterly disappointed, Whittlesey. It's the one thing to lose a Premier League final, but it's also one to be non-competitive. So I reckon that hurts twice as much. And that's probably going to take a little bit more to come back from next year to know that that's how the game ended. So for me, I'm more disappointed in not the result. I mean, I think we've said Diamond Creek, South Morang all year. They're the two sides that we've seen as standing out. They did come down, Whittlesey, but to not really give a yelp in a preliminary final, I thought was the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair call. Now I've left the big game to last because your little buddy over there at I said something at the show the other day when we did the live Wednesday night at not the live, whatever you call it, the show, whatever. And I said something about Vin as a throwaway comment, and I sort of stared over, and he gave me a bit of this side eye, which you would have seen 1,000 times, and I was scared shitless. He's such a
funny. It's funny, like we talk about Vinny now. Like he's such a. For me, he's one of the great people of football. Probably one of the best people I've met in football. More for the fact that, like, I got him raw. Like I get him as a coach. You see what he's like now. He's so structured. He's just. I feel like we were the rough draft, and we got all the kinks out of him. I've copped some ripping sprays in my time, but I reckon his one it's probably stung me the most because it was just so brutal in his way about it. You'll never see that come out of him now. So
I wouldn't want to be on part of him.
He's such a student of football. And you look at the club in general, like what he brings to a football club. He's been at Bundoora. He had the same thing at Lowell Plenty. He's been at West Preston, and every team that he's been a part of. Look, he's a good mate of mine, and I just think the world of what he does for football. And as a person, he turns up on a Wednesday. It's hard to get there on a Wednesday night, and he'd be one of the busiest men alive, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's where it is. But the whole club in general for the Heidelberg Footy Club, they're just in such good nick.
Now, let me. He won't want this, and he hasn't asked for this, but let me tell you this: Vinny runs a business called Vita Sports. I think it is.
Vita Footy, I think it is. Yeah,
Vita Footy. We'll put a link up to it. We'll do a post now.
And if you're fitness as well,
yeah. If you're getting into your off season now, and you want to be a better footballer next year, you can get direct access to Vin without having to go to Heidelberg. And he does football training, elite training, as you said. I think he's an outstanding guy. If you've got a young kid that's trying to go to the next level, I promise you there is no better man to send your child to. Even you don't have to be a child. You might be 18 saying, how do I get the edge? There is no better man, in my opinion, to go down there. Yeah, 20, whatever. Me and Bonner's probably left our run a bit late now. But
did we ever have a run?
Because no, not really. I did run to the bench. But he's a fantastic guy, and you should definitely get down there and see him. But let's talk about this game because they came out and went bang, 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 Heidelberg, 10-12-72, defeated Montmorency 5-10-40. Maybe if that's the other way, 10-5, it's a real nail-biter. But Bonners, Heidelberg do that to you. They just do it to you, don't they?
Yeah, week off, same thing as well. Like it's hard to come back straight off a week off. They get another one this week, but great performance by Monty. Like, don't take anything away. I did think it was about the 5-goal difference between the sides. That just the quality of footballers in both teams, but just the quality of the Heidelberg Footy Club. So. Shout out to them. It's no big surprise, but I tell you what, until that, it just gives me that inkling that there's something on the horizon for a grand final. So, there's no hands on the cup just yet, but they've really put a cat amongst the pigeons and say, well, if we had a kick straight, it would have been a different game. So it definitely makes it a lot intriguing. Monty have to get through Greensborough next week first, coming off a great win. So whoever gets the opportunity, grand final day is an amazing thing. And as we've seen in finals already this year, it throws up some curly ones for you.
And Greensy is the only side to beat the only side to beat Heidelberg this year. So, pretty important. Some solid efforts, though, from Heidelberg as well. there's all contributors again. I go through the goals: Jordan Smith 2, Zane Barzan 2, Tom Keys 2. You got Ben Nikolovsky 1, Braden Sear 2. Like, they're so spread. It's fantastic, and Monty will be hungry. Make no mistake, because unfortunately they do have that label of the September just hasn't worked so well for them for a long time. But I think they're a good side. I really do. I probably in advance will tell you that I think Monty will get the chocolates next week, but it won't be a walk in the park. But
No, by no means.
Bonners, we have no more Wednesday shows. Our big one was last Wednesday, but what we're going to do this week, we've discussed it today at Kramer Street, is we're going to do a couple of little articles each, maybe a couple of little video things, and put those up. We're just going to do our Sunday wrap-up now after the finals for each week, because there's just not so many teams to cover, and you're probably sick of our faces, mainly his. But overall, I think it's been awesome. I want to finish the show with this, Bonners, is I've had, I'm going to guess, somewhere between 10 and 15 messages from the legends and apologies, guys like Cameron, who couldn't make it on the night. I got to catch up with Jamie Shaw. I got to catch up, obviously, with Vin. Got to see Ray Shaw, who's the funniest bugger you've ever met in your life. He's just hilarious. I got to meet guys that we'd never seen before, that I'd never seen before, come down in Legends. And for me, the one thing that I've loved most this year was seeing those 30 guys stand around and tell stories and have a chat and feel appreciated. Because the truth is, the league was built by these guys. They do seem to get shunned a bit, and, they shouldn't. I'm all about embracing that. I've had a couple of people send me messages saying, can you do a Division 2 one? Can you do a Division 3 one?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in the off season, but we will get to it. We're not going to forget about anyone. But it was a ripper night, Bonners.
Yeah, look, and to me, what I got out of it, I actually got to see Neil Brindley today. So he came up and had a good chat. So to me, I thought, and the way it was taken by these guys, it was such appreciation. It was just, acknowledgement, a massive shout out. And I know he doesn't like it, but Bowles, just to come up with a concept. Yeah. Massive shout out to, Robbie Majorana, Ray Shaw, Jason Heatley, Vinny Detoli, and we let Gary Massey off the hook, off the leash a little bit on Wednesday. So he had a nice little chat. But, and for those who didn't there, to have the coaches there, for me, it was, Phil Plunkett was a clear one. But for me, when you talk about Diamond Valley and Northern football, there is no bigger name than Gary Massey. If you don't know who Gary Massey is, you haven't been a part of it. So to see guys I haven't seen in years, to see players that I got to play against and, see them firsthand was amazing. So the night was just a great night. It seemed to go so quick though. Like for me, I would have loved it to have gone for a little bit longer, but to see everyone there, to catch up, I thought was fantastic. So a big shout out to the whole thing. Shout out to your good self and the people who were setting it up. It was good fun to be a part of.
No, it was. Well, Bonners, until next Sunday when we're back, no one has to see our face to then. We will get our updates during the week. From me and Bonners, what a great week of footy. Congratulations to Old Paradians who go from Division 3 in their first year to Division 2. And until next Sunday, keep kicking goals.